What's going on, everyone? So the Dodgers, all offseason, it was like, is Shohei coming to the Dodgers, right? That was a big question. It was a big, talking point, even for the last few years, right? And sure enough, boom, the Dodgers get their guy. They get a generational talent in Shohei Ohtani, and he signs a mega deal. And then you see the deal, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute. He just deferred 90% of that salary. So, okay, makes sense, right? People are sad, people are hurt, people are bothered that this happened. But hey, guess what? If you could have done it, you would have did it. Problem is that you didn't do it. The Dodgers did it. So cry, be mad, be upset. At the end of the day, the Dodgers didn't do anything illegal. They didn't do anything that wasn't within the parameters of the league. And they ended up hitting a literal home run in Ohtani, right? Well, the idea was okay, we gotta push. Here we go. Chips to the table. You got Mookie Betts, you got Freeman, you got this incredible roster, you got Bueller, right? You got Ohtani. Time to push your chips to the table, right? Then you hear the news, you get the trade, you get Glass now. Okay, cool. Another starting level, starting caliber pitcher. Little questions about his injury history. He says that the injuries are past him. He says that he's good. He even got some relief. And Joe Kelly bringing him back, right? We all remember the little sad face meme. Beautiful. That was one of my favorite moments in baseball, period. That was absolutely incredible. And it's man, Friedman is having himself, take your victory lap. And then there was the questions of, okay, well, what are the Dodgers going to do? They're obviously waiting for Yamamoto, right? He's the big prize. He's the big guy. He is the generational pitcher, right? Because Shohei, he's not going to be able to pitch till 2025, so you still got another year before he's ready to pitch. You need a guy. You need several guys that come in now, and then you already have the super bats on paper. You need to get the super pitching on paper. And sure enough, it happened. The Dodgers got Yamamoto. And this could not be more of a beautiful thing for Dodger fans, right? This is the guy. This was the guy that everyone was anxiously awaiting. This is the guy that when Shohei went and made that deferral, it was all right, man, we got to be getting Yama, right? That's who's coming. And there was all the pitching, all the talk, not pitching literally, but pitching to try to court Yama to come to the Dodgers. And, it was he wants to play with one of his countrymen. He wants to be, that was talks even before. One of the big things, one of the big talking points was if they get Ohtani, then they're probably going to get Yama just because he's expressed to people that, he wants to play with somebody to help ease his time and kind of give some familiarity. And then you hear, the Yankees, you hear the Mets, the Giants, you hear all these teams trying to make it happen. I personally was never really sold on the Mets. I just didn't see the Mets. I thought it was the Dodgers or the Yankees. Those were the two teams that I personally looked at and went, okay, that's the most likely scenario, because those are two teams that are primed and ready to potentially win a World Series, where the Mets still think they're not quite there, and their history, ownership, things like that can be a little rocky. And I didn't like their pitch, right? Instead of selling the idea of what you could be here and all this stuff, they were trying to downplay other destinations, right? Trying to bad talk other, that usually is not a formula for a successful just courting, right? I don't care if I'm coming here, then I don't care about the Dodgers. What are you going to do for me here? What's the goal? Yeah, marketing and brands and advertisement. Yeah, I could get that here, but I could get it with the Yankees. I could still get it with the Dodgers. Yeah, Tony's probably going to get a majority of it, but there's still going to be leftovers for me. I'm still going to get a bunch. And to me, it was just the Yankees and the Dodgers made the most sense. Pay him out, give him whatever, and the Dodgers were the team that was able to land him. And so we ended up getting Yama on a 12-year deal, which I had reservations about that because I just figured that there would be some type of opt-out clause or maybe a shorter deal, something crazy like, maybe 5 years, 200 million, something like that, to where like he could go get a new contract come, his 29, 30, something like that, right? And no, they were able to get him on a 12-year, $325 million contract. To me, I think that's a great deal. Like, honestly, I think that is a fantastic deal. There are, based on the reports that are coming out, there are no deferrals. All of the money is going to be paid accordingly, right? Which makes sense. Ohtani can do that because, one, he's already made a ton of money. Two, he's going to get all the brand deals, endorsements. And there's reports that he makes like $40 million a year just off of the brand deals. So he could do that. It's not a problem with him. But it was like, okay, well, Yama, like, he's going to take the bag, right? He's got to take the bag. And he got it with the Dodgers, and that's great. But here's the other thing, too. The Dodgers have plenty of assets and flexibility to continue and keep pushing this train. So not only do you have basically two generational players that can literally build a dynasty with, and you still have Mookie Betts, and you still have Freddie Freeman. And so you have this core for the next, at least 7 years, something like that. And then you got Ohtani and Yama for the next 10 minimum, right? Like, you are in such great shape if you're the Dodgers. I mean, you're talking dynasty level. If the Dodgers don't win 2 or 3 World Series at least, and I see people out there that are like, oh man, like, Dodgers are going to win the next 5 and all that stuff. And like, look, it is very hard to win a World Series. I mean, you can buy the talent in baseball unlike you can in most organizations. I know there's still casts, but there's all kinds of like, gray areas and stuff. But even then, like, baseball is such a weird anomaly that nothing's guaranteed. And then you got talking injuries and all kinds of stuff, right? Like, so there's, like, I don't want to put the expectations too high where it's like, oh, they're going to win. You got 7 years with basically this core. You should win, 5 out of those 7. I don't want to say that, but you should win at least 2 or 3. If you don't, then I think that that's a big failure. But the beauty is the Dodgers still have a ton of flexibility. They can still go get several players if need be. I still think that they need, a sort of back of the line, left-handed starting level pitcher, right? Go get like a left-handed starter. I mean, do they go and look at, they're not necessarily left-handed, but just pitching, period. Do they go look at like a Cease or, Burns? Do they try to do something like that? Do they maybe try to add to the bats a little bit? I don't know. The beauty is the Dodgers have a lot of flexibility, is the point. They can also, if they want to, they can remain patient. I kind of lean towards like ride this wave while you can, right? You're hot, right? You're batting 1,000. Let's go. Let's keep this train moving. Let's keep this party going, right? Don't slow down now. Don't move to the side now. Let's get it, right? So, look, the Dodgers have clearly won the offseason, without a doubt. And you have basically your two faces of this team for the foreseeable future. And now you're just continuing to make sure you stay competitive and stay a contender with these guys. Ohtani, will see what he looks like when he comes back from being able to pitch again. Because we're still a year away from that. Still going to hit and stuff, but as far as pitching goes, does he still look the same? That's definitely a question. Is he going to be able to pitch the way he does? He had some like revolutionary surgery or something that we'll see if that has an effect, that has an impact. And if he's able to come back and pitch the way that we know he can pitch, you're talking about the best pitching rotation in all of baseball. If Yama is the guy that everyone believes he will be, you're talking about literally 2 aces. Hey, you're talking about 2 guys that can, by themselves, guarantee you 2 playoff wins around, right? Like that it's just what a great position for the Dodgers to be in. And this time last year it was like, if you had a time machine and you came back and you said we got Ohtani and we got Yama, I don't know if I believe it. I'd be like, I could see one. Like I saw Ohtani, like I genuinely believed that he was coming. I did. I thought it just made the most sense, right? I never in a doubt. Like talking to my friends, I know I don't talk a lot of baseball on here, which let me know if you want me to. If you want me to touch more on baseball and stuff, but I just thought it made the most sense for him as a player, but to get both was massive because also the finances and all that. Like again, if you would have told me, it's like, well, are they even gonna have the money when all is said and done and all that stuff? But you look at Ohtani and his deal, you knew it paved the way. It did. It paved the way to go get Yama. And now the Dodgers, good luck. Good luck. Because if Ohtani comes back, I mean, the Dodgers should win it this year. And then if Ohtani comes back and is able to pitch the way that we know that he can next season, how do you beat them in a playoffs, in a 7-game series? How do you beat them? Could you imagine if Yama is the guy that he's supposed to be and Ohtani gets back to pitching the way that we know he can, and like their worst pitcher in the lineup is Glass now, who's actually really good. It's like how do you beat them? I don't know. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I passed a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What'd you think? How do you feel? Are you pumped? Are you excited? Is this awesome? Again, I'd love to hear it because this is great. I'm very excited for the Dodgers baseball. And probably gonna have to throw some change on them to win the World Series. But again, love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Let me know down in the comments.